Okay, I don't know if this helps, but I'm just going to use like a fake example and break it down for you further in something that I find super helpful. And this is how I backtrack time. Because when the kids were little, I realized very early on, this came in the shoe tying season, when all the tiny queens wanted to learn to tie their shoes and they wanted to do it themselves. And I found myself yelling and barking at them, not yelling, but being like, you guys, come on, just let me do it. And I was wanting to tie the shoe, right? Because we needed to be someplace. And there are going to be moments when you have that. So like, don't hear what I'm not saying. There's going to be moments when they can't tie the shoe. But in the scheme of things, if I had prepped more time with certain things, this shoe tying 3-minute like detour would not be so impactful to my overall mood. And it was really impacting my mood, which then impacted the day, which had a domino effect on how we all felt. And being important, like being on time is important, but how you feel is more important. So how can we safeguard this? So here's an example. Say the tiny queens have a presentation at school at 8:15, but they have been asked by their teacher to be there at 7:50 in order to properly prepare and be there in the classroom beforehand. 7:50 is when we need to arrive at school. I backtrack that with it'll take about a 35-minute commute. Let's work in traffic. 45 minutes. That puts us at 7 a.m. we need to leave. Now that's earlier than normal because we can leave at 7:10. So then I backtrack that from when I usually wake them up. I do not wake the girls up and suddenly people want to bounce out of bed, right? I don't. So I make a leverage time for that, a buffer to get out of bed. So I'm going to go in at about 5:45 and I'm going to wake them up because they don't have to be up till 5:55. This gives 10 minutes in the bed, in the quiet, in the dark, to roll around, to relax. Then I'm back up there, right, at 5:55. And I'm like, hey, it's almost 6. We need to be up. Why? Because I know that they need 20 to 30 minutes to eat breakfast, watch a couple Blueies or one Daniel Tiger or a Jetson or whatever. And I want them to have that time to slowly wake up to kind of get their bodies moving, right, without being jostled out of bed. So they're downstairs by 6 o'clock, 6:05, 6:10 at the latest, because for that 20-minute segment or that 30. So if they want 30 minutes at 6, if they want 20 minutes at 6:10, they're upstairs at 6:30. Something that we will do is we will have a general idea of what we want to wear the night before. I like laying it out the night before. That doesn't always work. Rarely works because we change our mind in the morning. So they come upstairs. We're going to brush our teeth. We're going to go to the bathroom. We're going to brush our hair. If we want our hair done, we have already told mom, I think I want a braid, right? Or a pony. This also changes. So in the scheme of things of me waking up, if I know they're all going to be up and moving at 6 a.m., I get up at 5 a.m. That is because I have to make 3 lunches because I don't do it the night before. Our food, the way they like it, it doesn't keep well. So I have to be up at 5 a.m. if I want a little quiet time, some ice rolling time. I want to do a load of dishes because dishes in the sink some days don't make me happy. Some days I leave them, whatever. Then I like to pack the lunches, make the breakfast. I make time for the certain breakfast that they want, whether that's a frozen, whether that's an acai bowl, whether that's a smoothie. So that way, when they come down and I need to go up, I also have time to eat what I want in the morning for my breakfast, the yogurt that I eat for probiotic, the Dave's Killer Toast, avocado toast, whatever. If I want to make my coffee now or later, and I work that in. So that means that I get up at 5, so I have about 10 to 15 minutes to myself. 5:15, I start making lunches, start prepping breakfast. That takes me till about 5:45. Between 5:45, I might wake them up, come back downstairs, prep activity bags for that day if they haven't, double check that all of our bags are packed, which they double check too, and making sure of that stuff. And that is how that kind of works in my mind, if that helps. And I say this all with the caveat that sometimes none of this works and it all goes off the rails. A lot of the time this works. It's a system that works for us and it's been successful, so we keep doing it. Sometimes though, it just goes off the rails. What I find important in the morning might not be important to you. I don't find working out early in the morning super important because it's not something that brings me joy. Ice rolling my face, eye patches, and some quiet time in prayer is what I really treasure. So that's what I do. I find time later in the day to work out. If my life looked different, I might switch that up. All that to say, try different things. The age of your tiny people, this matters. This matters so much, okay? Because if you're under the age of 5, there are a lot of things that play into it. Can they dress themselves? Can they feed themselves? Are you giving them a bottle? Are you breastfeeding? Like, there's so much that plays into it. So also realize the season you're in and be patient with yourself. It can change. It can be different. Find what works for you, and then don't worry about what everybody else does.